don't have any ears on. Hang on. I need my ears. Oh. Oh, God. Oh, excuse me if the light is turned away. How's everybody doing today? Let me get over here so I can see the chat and stuff. And I wish I could get this to go dark mode for some reason. Hang on a second. Let me just see if I'm missing something here. All right. Ah, I had it. There it is. Oh, that's easier on the eyes. Much easier on the eyes than the white screen. Now, hang on a second. I'm sorry if I'm a little bedazzled at the moment. I am barely functional at the moment. Let me pop out the chat. And if you want me to say hi, remember to say hi as you come in. I have done nothing today. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Oh, no, that's not true. I got out of bed and got dressed. That's 2 things I did today. I'm really sorry that we couldn't do cast iron today live because there must be some kind of pressure system, low pressure system or high pressure system or something coming through from because this headache has been pounding the piss out of me all day. And I have not long been out of bed. I mean, I had a little visit with Bubba, and that's what made me think that I could come on here and do a bit of a live. I haven't even. I've got pork chops out, but I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I have leftover spaghetti from last night. Maybe I'll just fry that up with pork chops and put some beans on the side or something. Oh, it's barely manageable. It's just manageable. And I'm going to take my life in my hands here and go behind the fan and hope I don't cough and blow the top of my head off. So thank you, God. Thank you, God. So how's everybody doing today? Oh, well, now let me see. There's 76 people here, so I'll give it a few more minutes before I start shouting out names and stuff. Just make sure when you come in, you say hi. Maybe let people know where you're from, like, saying hello from Hawaii or Nebraska or Quebec, right? Hey, Donna, how are you, sweetheart? So I had a little FaceTime with Bubba, and that's always, a mood raiser. It really is. Um, yeah, I'm barely here, guys. I'm barely here. So but I just want to come and apologize because I haven't been able to do anything today. I had great plans for today. What's tomorrow, Wednesday? Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. So, all right, let me, did I share this? Let me just pop out the participants list. Champagne. Or is that supposed to be Champlain? Angela M. Hi. Ann Sylvester. Britt Wannabe. Aloha Seashell. Carolyn L. Benjamin. Chandy Shaw. Connie Lee. Donna Lull. Edie Murray. Ellen Fagundes. Fagundes. Ellen Fagundes. Let me know if I said that right. Farmer and Adele Akers. Flavina Derrick. Garnet Morgan. Judy Raderink. Julie Britt. Candy. Kindle. Lacey Black. Hi, sweetie. Laura Higgins. Leanne Bishop. Hello, darling. Linda Chandler. Lori Lazora Matisney. I love saying that name. Marisol Riviera Shore. Melissa Verme. Oh, sorry. Vemi. Missy Royer. Minnesota Farmer's Wife. Julie. Mama Dukes. Is it Beth? Rita Svet. Hey, it's been a minute. Roberta Ackerman. Hello. Haven't seen you in a bit. Roberta Cook. Rosie Bernard. Sherry Leach. Hey, honey, how are you doing? Oh, Susie Q. Oh, Susie Q. Terry Harmon. Tina Elliott. Tracy Don, what's that flower you have on? And Victoria Taylor. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Is anybody else had a migraine today? Because I'm telling you, it's not been a happy thing. Hey, Denise. Hey. Hi, Andrea R. Oh, yeah, well, it's, that's... I'm if you notice, I'm not looking at the screen a lot because I'm just focusing on like the little camera hole thing here because watching the chat go by is kind of nauseating a little bit. So I'm not going to be here long. Wait a minute. I thought it was only me because I still I get them. I get them. It's usually when there's a major pressure shift going through or something. You're feeling chilled, Kathy? Well, give yourself a blankie and a hot cocoa. I'm going to make myself a medicated cocoa as soon as I get off here, because then I got to start cooking dinner. Here in our northern state, with a high of 3 degrees, Michigan, the sun makes it more bearable. Well, I'm actually kind of glad the sun's not out right now because that would be just too much light. Just too much light. I have an appointment at the cancer clinic next week. Well, keep us posted, okay? No, I can't because if I stay, I've been in bed most of the morning and early afternoon. And I can't stay in bed all day. It's bad for my back. It's bad for my hips. And it's bad for my insomnia. So, hey, Garnet, how's it going? Hoping the roads stay not too bad and pressure trigger my migraines as well. Yeah. There have been many pressure changes in the last few weeks here in the USA. I had to go to the store, so I cheated and got a rotisserie chicken for dinner. Good for you. And a veggie, and I'm done. There you go. No, my hair is actually more comfortable up. It's not tight. It's not tight at all. It's just because if my hair's down, I might accidentally flick my hair, or you see what I mean, or shake my head. So no, it's safer for my hair to be up. My brother's friend just found out that chemo didn't work. It's spreading, and they've decided at Pittsburgh Hospital that they're not going to do anything else for him. So he's choosing to die with dignity, right? Pray for one another on here today. Absolutely, Ellen. Absolutely. The world's in a weird place where anybody who is awake, not woke, there is a difference, but anybody who's awake and some people have been awake for a long time. Some people have been aware for a long time, and some people have just woken up in the last 4 years. But they woke up in a bad mood because waking up in this time in history is not an easy thing. Because once you see, you can't unsee again, right? I know I'm going to be rambling here a little bit. Pretty much they've decided to give up, so he's going to go out with a nice time. In other words, he's going to drink and eat whatever he wants because he hasn't been able to for over a year. Well, let him just, enjoy what's left of life. And I'm never one to say never, right? So, hey, from Central PA, hi, Joan Leach. Pretty much, yeah. But I mean, he knows our needs and his will is done. Absolutely, Missy. Thank you. I don't consider this a podcast. Would you call this a podcast? I mean, it's live, I guess. Wouldn't I love to go live with Joe Rogan? Oh, he's like, you should hear him talk trash about Canada. That frozen commie country. He's right, though. Canada used to be an amazing country. Note the use of the language there. Continually ascending. Absolutely, Susie Q. Absolutely. More of a vlog, yeah. But it's live, right? So let's do this. Since I'm in a kind of in a fog, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not in a fog. What I am is in an intense, relaxed state because it's the only way I can handle the headache. So let's play a game. Ask me anything. Anything. And I reserve the right not to answer that question, or I may answer it in a different way. But ask me anything. Moderators, are you ready? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's Farmer and Adele Akers and Susie Q. That's just the way it's been going on for a while, hasn't it? All part of the big master plan. Hey, Trudy. Hey, Kim Solomon. How's it going? I'm going to go behind the fan again for a minute, folks. Gotta stay. When you going to come and visit Oklahoma? Hopefully in the next couple of years. Howie and I want to repeat the drive to Arizona, and Oklahoma's one place we went through. Do I wish I lived in a tropical country? Good question. No. Tropical is high heat and high humidity. And I like living in a place that everything goes to sleep in the winter, right? Like, but not everything goes to sleep in the winter. But the reason I live in a place that freezes my face off is I don't have to deal with poisonous spiders, alligators, and python-like snakes and things. I can jump into my river and I'm not going to get eaten by a gator. You know what I mean? What was your most romantic moment? Oh, Laura, that's a good one. And if I can't get to your questions, I'll do my best. The most romantic moment? Well, I could say, yeah, I'm going to say this. This is a given. The night Howie asked me to marry him. We had only been together a month. And he doesn't remember this because he was just wasted. But it was back then, it was the only way he could express real emotion was when he was relaxed enough with booze. But anyway, I was going into the kitchen to get a pint of beer back in the day, and I brought one back for Howie, right? And the fact that I didn't have to ask, I don't know. But he put the beers down and he grabbed my hands and he said, "Will you marry me someday?" I said, "Sure." He said, "No, I'm serious. Will you marry me someday?" I said, "Yes, of course." And he said, and he put cupped my hands like this, and he held them and he said, "In these hands, you hold my heart. Don't drop it. I may never recover." That's my most romantic moment. And then when he kissed me the other night. Kind of curious about something. Do you think when Howie retires, are you going to get irritated with him after a while? Hell no. That's why he's building a garage out there. He'll never retire. He may retire from the workforce, the paycheck force, but he'll never retire from working on cars. That's why the garage has a new wood furnace in it. That's why the garage has a new door. That's why we're talking about jacking up the front roof on the entrance and, putting pole jacks in and cutting the beam out and jacking up the roof and putting in a new I-beam so we can get bigger vehicles in and have more room. Will I get irritated? Hell no. He's not in the house on weekends as it is. He's out in the garage. Right? No. It's all taken care of. That is, Candy, that was the day that was the moment that I knew I had to stop running. I didn't stop running, but I had stopped looking, right? Of all the places in Canada, why did you pick Quebec? Oh, God. I looked into it. They are a bit ridiculous there, and they hate the English, so I stayed south of Quebec. Of all the places in Canada, why did I pick Quebec? Because I ran away from home, and I had a cousin here who was taking me in. And how he followed me. It was, Leona. It was a wow moment. It was a wow moment. And, when we sobered up, I mean, when you have an alcoholic in a relationship, and they've always been an alcoholic in that relationship, and that alcoholic sobers up, sometimes the relationship does not survive because the person that the non-alcoholic fell in love with isn't the same person anymore. Right? Now, when you have two alcoholics that meet drunk, marry drunk, and sober up with a house and two kids, the odds are much, much, much lower of the relationship ever surviving. We have had our splits. I'm not kidding. We have split up more than once because I run away. I have run away a couple of times. But the truth is, everything we've done, everything we've experienced has led us to where we are right now. And I'll tell you something, Howie and I, our relationship alone is a miracle. And our love is God ordained. It has to be. Because we survived, our relationship survived when the odds were like 200% against us. Like, it would have been, everybody would have been against us and somebody would have made a lot of money, right? When did I quit running? When Howie followed me to Quebec. I had been hurt more than once. I have been let down more than once. And I never had a very good self-esteem at all. I never had any self-esteem. I always was, I was the baby of the family who was treated like extra. Oh God, mom's had another baby kind of thing, right? And I was a girl, no less. The only one who was really rejoiced was my sister because she prayed for a baby sister. Anyway, so I had no self-esteem. And the problem is when you don't know how to love yourself, you can't understand or accept that anybody else is capable of loving you. Now, hear that again. If you don't love yourself, You don't believe anybody when they tell them that they love you because you don't understand how that's possible. So when I quit running, when Howie came to Quebec to bring me a car so that I would have a car because we were separated, but he had an ulterior motive. There's this thing called chemistry, and when Howie kisses me, okay, I feel it in every fiber of my being. I'm not talking the little every day. I'm talking about, the little softening of the lips with a little like that. And I would melt to the floor. I could easily just do that. So there is something to the chemistry. So when he brought the car, he was going to stay to he had a friend drive his vehicle up behind him because his friend was going to Ottawa and he wanted, it was a free ride. He just had to drive Howie's truck. And he brought me the Topaz. And it's in the driveway. And he said, okay. He said they had to make sure everything was going to pass inspection because when you bring an Ontario vehicle into Quebec, you have to pass inspection. You can sell a car from one person to another in Quebec and never have to have a safety inspection. But if it's coming in from another province, it does. So long story short, Howie said, get in and make sure you can reach the wheels because I was bigger than I am now. And he said, make sure you can reach the pedals and then the seat goes back far enough and all that stuff. And then when I sat in the driver's seat, he stood in the open door and I was trapped. He said, are you okay? And he leaned down and he kissed me, the bastard. And I knew right then and there that as separated as we were, we were going to work our way back somehow because I couldn't let that kind of love go. Now, when he put our house up for sale in Ontario and moved into a 1-bedroom apartment with me and the kids and got a job, not only did he get a job in Ottawa, we were living in my cousin's building and he was doing renovation work for them in the 6-plex that they just bought. We were living in a 1-bedroom apartment, practically rent-free. And then one night, I think the kids were staying at my cousin's for the night, and because they weren't there. Oh yeah, they were. They had their bedroom was in their bed. They were in bed, right? And Howie and I, were in bed. And we were laying there and we were talking and he said, I don't understand, Bev. How can you not know that I love you? How many times do I have to chase you down before you believe that I love you? I said, you want me to believe I love you? You love me? Okay, you got it. I surrender. I give up. I said, but here's what you got to know now. I said, if you ever try and leave me, I said, you're stuck with me for life. Come hell or high water. He said, Bev, we made vows kind of like that, about 10 years ago kind of thing, right? And, but I just unleashed all this pent up, fear and anxiety and self-esteem issues all just came emotionally puking out of me. And when I was done, Howie kind of went, thank God. He said, cause it's been 12 years, Bev, and this, we got to shit or get off the pot. He said, thank you. He said, are we done? Right? And that's when I stopped running. I never stopped testing. That took me another 8 years of pushing, always poking to see, you still love me? You still love me? It wasn't until I don't know. A few years back, 10 years ago or so, and Howie got a text. And I said, "Who's that? Your girlfriend?" And then I was always doing little jabs like that, right? Right. Yeah, girlfriend on the side, blah blah blah. And I came to a revelation that I was throwing darts at him every time I said something like that, because he was one of the most loving, loyal men on the face of the earth. And every time I said, even jokingly, something like that, it was an attack on his character. So, I mean, you never stop learning, you never stop growing, because if you do, you stop loving, right? Love is not always enough. Love has to be, you have to be pulling side by side in the harness, so that, yeah, somebody else pulls up the slack if someone gets tired, but you're still going side by side. You know what I mean? That's all I got. Everybody's heard this. Everybody's heard this story. Shoot, being on the phone for the last half hour, going to have to watch the replay. I have to get my car cleaned off for an appointment, half an hour as well. Well, thanks for letting us know, Tina. If you got to go, I'm going to give you a kiss now. Mwah. Hey, Deborah from Alaska. I love that you're sharing such beautiful and private moments. Thank you. I'm not sharing the private stuff. I mean, love is love, right? I mean, right? Well, thank you, Marisol. Well, I don't know how to be anything else now, right? You got to look at this old lady as a walnut. Yeah, I'm tough and wrinkly. But Howie was my nutcracker. Howie was my nutcracker. Ha 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 ha. This is the most honest and heartfelt chat I have seen in a long time. First time hearing all this. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's one that I did on one of our anniversaries, where I told the whole story of how Howie and I met, and how we ended up here. But I mean, every once in a while, I mean, there's new people coming. I'm at 140,000 subscribers, y'all. Thank you so very much. Give yourself a hand. If I can't be myself, then I cease to function properly. That's I don't know if that's part of being an alcoholic, or if that's just the way I function now. I live a very rigorously honest life. Rigorously honest. Because untruths, half truths, and lying is a really half, even unspoken. Like, you're not going to lie, but you're not going to, omission or commission. It's the same thing. And it's a really slippery slope. And as an alcoholic, I know, like, Howie and I were watching something the other night. We watch a lot of BritBox, and people were in a pub having a pint. And I looked at the glass of beer and I said, I often wish I could just have a beer. Right? And Howie looked at me and I went, no, I don't want a beer. What I'm saying is, I wish I wasn't an alcoholic so that I could enjoy that. I said, I'm not stupid. I'll never pick one up, God willing, one day at a time, because I may never get sober again. And sobriety is the only reason I'm alive and married. You know what I mean? Before I met my hubby, I heard him laugh and I knew I was hooked. And then I met him and it was over for me. I pursued him quietly and sweetly. Good for you, Susie Q. Uh, hang on a second, guys. I'll be right back. Friggin' no one there. Hang on a second. Oh, I can't leave it on. I can't put it on Do Not Disturb because Howie's on the road, and that's a lesson I've had to learn. Do not have the phone on Do Not Disturb when Howie's on the road, in bad weather especially. I was a smoker, and sometimes I wish I could have a cig. I know. You see, cigarettes were my monster. Cigarettes. That was an addiction that God help me. I don't even, when people are here visiting, I don't even like them sitting, like they got to sit on a certain spot on the deck if they want to sit on the deck and smoke. And it can't be near my office window and it can't be near my kitchen window because one whiff of smoke and I want to smoke. It's that simple. My father told me I'd be an alcoholic because I drank so much water, tea, soda, etc., soft drinks. I'm constantly drinking, But these days it's just, classic British tea with milk and water. Hey, Bumfluff, how are you, darling? Hi, Tony G. Well, you don't have to. I was cigarette free for 6 months, but that didn't last because my ex came back and I couldn't deny him entry. Well, these are all choices we make, right? So are we done with Ask Me Anything? We've got some new people have come in, and I got a few more minutes. I'm going to go behind the fan again. And then I'm going to go try and cook something for supper. I've got pork chops out. So I'll just get them to fry in and have some instant mashed potatoes and green beans. Good job. I haven't had a cigarette. I quit when I was 38, but I had a couple of backslides. I haven't had a cigarette in 2007. 2007, guys. What is that? How many years? 6 years? I haven't had a cigarette. No, 16 years. God, I lost time there for a minute. Good job, Marisol. Hey, Lori. My favorite job? The bakery. As much as I hated how things ran. But if it had been my bakery, it would have been the joy of my life. I fucking loved that job. Pardon me. I loved that job. I loved when I was given the freedom before, the boss came. The boss came and brought a cloud, this dark cloud, into the thing and started doing things just, without syncopation, without, what I mean? So, but while I was working there and when I worked my way into like a supervisory position, I still worked my ass off. I just worked twice as hard. It was as painful as it was, physically killing me to work there. I fucking loved it. I loved making cookie dough. I loved singing while I was singing for customers while I cut fudge. I loved all those things. But I lost faith in the business, that particular business itself, and I could no longer work there. And hold my lip, hold my tongue. You had said that a long time ago in one of your videos, how you love the bakery. Oh God, yeah. Make no mistake. That's one of the things, like, to this day. I mean, Steven Seedfeld will come in here. He's got an industrial kitchen, and he talks about me coming down and running out a bakery for a couple of weeks for him for his markets or for the summer or whatever. And if physically I could do it, I'd be there in a heartbeat just for the fun of it. just for the fun of it. You know what I mean? I I hate cooking. I'm not great at cooking, but I love experimenting and baking and things. That's why when I throw a cake together, it's very rare that it doesn't work because it's just feel and look and it's one of those things, I guess it's a bit of a gift, I guess. I am feeling better and it's also going behind the fan, which is helping because excuse me. I have it in my purse. I'll use it. It's relaxing the blood vessels. If I have one of Howie's old nitro puffers, and if you have a migraine, don't. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying for anybody to do that. But one time the doctor told me to use it on a migraine because it opens all the blood vessels and releases pressure. So is Bev the only one that will see that email? What email? If you send me an email, yes, I'm the only one who will see it. The only time somebody else would see it is if you added everybody else, or if I shared it with somebody, and I don't do that. I don't share. You know, ask Joe Mama. Where is she, by the way? Ask Joe Mama. We email each other all the time. Hi, Ange. How's it going, sweetheart? Quit the cancer sticks in 2010 when they almost killed me. ICU with carbon dioxide levels so high I was on a BiPAP machine for a week. Haven't had a real desire since. I do like to breathe. Isn't it wonderful? You know, and I see people go, how can you smoke? Well, for starters, when I started smoking marijuana for pain, because the doctor told me, try it, because we don't want to go through the whole year process of making it legal for you. This was before it became legal in Canada. It was only medical. If you're going to react to it, right? Because in the past, I have reacted to marijuana and things like marijuana and hash, but it was because I was drinking. If I was drinking alcohol and I smoked a joint, it would react on me like Demerol does, and I'd be violently sick. So for many, 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 many years, I chose alcohol. And so I told that to the doctor, and she said, well, you better try it first because you're not drinking, you know, like you haven't had a drink in eons. She said, so try it. And if it works, then we'll go through the whole process. But I had to get over the I had to do a lot of mental and emotional work because I was putting a cigarette-like thing to my mouth. And that I wanted to make sure was not going to be a trigger of an addiction. You can have a psychological addiction to marijuana. And if I didn't do all my journaling and stuff before I started that, because I may have gotten psychologically addicted, like jumping ditches, but not because I would be physically addicted, because I have no physical addiction to it. Thank God. Right. And thank God I'm allergic to opiates because those things are as addictive as hell. I made it to it live. Hey, just me. I'm pushing on I'm pushing a microwave out of my life. I will ask you later. So about pain. Thanks, Mrs. V, because these pain pills are awful with the side effects. Well, Tony G, I got to tell you, it's not a painkiller. It's not a painkiller. But it is a pain. It helps you manage pain, right? Why? That's just why I'm risking coughing right now. Because coughing would just make my head feel like it was going to explode out sideways, you know, do the whole scanners thing. And but it allows me to relax enough that I can manage the pain. So if you have anxiety issues in any way, shape, or form, I would stick with a I would stick with a 50-50 sativa indica, right? 50-50. Because some people can have anxiety even though they're melted into the couch because they get anxiety because they can't move. Not me. I melt into the couch, I'm cool. I'm right where I want to be. But if I have anything higher than a 60% sativa, I run the risk of having panic attacks. So these are things I've had to learn in the last 10 years, right? For the past 12 years. Well, honey, I'm walking up and down the stairs today, praise God. God love ya. You're allergic to cannabis. Well, I mean, you can be allergic to things, right? See, I don't agree with anything other than the fact that it's an herb. It's a medical herb as far as I look at it. Did you see my chocolate covered peanut butter balls video on Rumble? They were really good, and they lasted me right up until a couple of weeks ago. And I would have 2 at night. And that with the muscle relaxer and the lorazepam, which I'm trying to get this. Ordered my pills today, and I still have lorazepam in my bottle. And even though I've gone from 35 pills a month down to 25. So I'm working on it. Oh, they're very good. You don't have to have Rumble. Well, you only have to have Rumble to comment. You can still watch videos, right? I'm going to look into wild lettuce. I'm going to look into wild lettuce. I got to look at it because people say it's like nature's morphine and stuff. We got to remember, I'm allergic to opiates. So if it's kind of natural, now opiate meaning from opium, right? Because all pain medications, in the opiate format, what's the very first one I found out I couldn't have? Demerol, morphine, codeine, all of those things are like opiates, right? That means opium, right? It's a chemical version of opium. So if it's like another form of opiate, I'd have to be very, very careful. So that's what I'm just saying. I have some wild lettuce seeds. I will try and plant them this year. Good. Hey, Thea Groves, how are you? And Flavina, Derek. What a beautiful name, Flavina. Oh, yeah, I need a puff. So, hi, Joanna. How are you? I make a bunch of wild lettuce tincture. I have to be careful with tincture. Made me seeing green little men's with the hallucinations. I got that on codeine. I overdosed accidentally on codeine because they gave it to me in the cough medicine, and they gave it to me in pill form as well. And I was used to over-the-counter cough medicine, so instead of taking the half a teaspoon I was supposed to, I took a swig, which was probably about a tablespoon and a half, and then I popped the 2 codeine pills. And I was in a lot of pain. And I was about, 20, 21 at the time, and I went and laid down, and my friend Mel was there, and we were living at my sister's house. My friend Mel was there. I said, I got to lay down for a minute, right? And we were watching movies. There was a whole bunch of us, like kids and family and stuff. And I got up. I was laying in bed, and Mel's boyfriend Greg walked in. I used to work with Greg, right? At the gas station. And Greg walked in, and it's like, what are you doing in bed? Get up, man. Get up, woman. You're missing all the visiting. And I said, yeah, all right. So he said, get a move on it. He walked out of the room. So I get up, I walk into the living room, and everybody's watching TV, and I look around and say, where's Greg? Because I had gone to the bathroom. And so I knew he wasn't there. And they all looked at me like I had lobsters crawling out of my ears. I said, where's Greg? And she said, I don't know. Why? And I said, he was just here. He come and told me to get out of bed. And everybody looked at me, and Marty said, Bev, you're gray. And that was it. I was like, Buh. I started heaving and heaving and heaving. And that was the last time I ever, well, no, it's not last time I took codeine. I could do Tylenol 3s for the longest time, as long as I took Gravol with them. Latex. I may have an issue with latex. I don't know. And then when I had my breast reduction surgery when I was 16, they gave me Demerol, and see, because I'd only ever had a tonsillectomy, and they just figured, they didn't even think of the Demerol they gave me in the hospital that was making me throw up. So then I had my breast reduction surgery, and I went for a cigarette, and I thought it was the cigarette, but it was the Demerol they gave me. So they switched me to morphine. So I was able to use morphine or Talwin, I think was the other one I could use at the time. And that was when I was 16, and I had finger surgery when I was 17. And then I had ovary surgery when I was 21. And then I had 2 C-sections and hernia surgery. But by the time I had my first hernia surgery, it had had 2 C-sections, all these other things, and morphine had been doing fine, right? A second finger surgery was in there too. And I went for hernia surgery, and when I was laying on the gurney, I could see Howie and Mom in the room where they were going to put me in bed, but I was still like in the recovery room. And the nurse said to me, I'm coming in and out of anesthetic, right? And the nurse said to me, she said, I'm going to inject morphine into your intravenous. You might feel a little burning. And I said, oh, no, I'm used to it. That's okay. Shoot me up, basically, is what I said. No, I have never used intravenous drugs, ever. Thank God. I just said, oh, yeah, shoot it up. I'm good. And then all of a sudden, my arm started to itch so bad, I yanked the intravenous out, and I was scratching, and my arm went bump, 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 swelled up to half its size. Twice its size, got really hot, and I started throwing up all over the place. I couldn't use morphine anymore. So, I mean, you had your colostomy reversed. You mean colostomy. Okay, I get colonoscopy and colostomy mixed up in my brain. To morphine after I had emergency C-section when I had my twins. Yeah. Anything the code family makes me projectile vomit. Yeah. If you've had a lot of surgeries, it increases your risk of a latex allergy. Yep. You know what I'm amazed about, though? Because when they did my breast reduction surgery, some of the stitches were dissolving stitches, and some had to be taken out. And for years afterwards, I get a little tiny pimple around my areola or somewhere around a scar, and I would grab a pair of tweezers and I would pull, and there'd be like a little piece of dental floss or something. It's like, that's weird. So what I find really amazing is that the medical mesh they put in after my last surgery, hopefully it's my last surgery forever, the medical mesh they put in my belly, because I have a C curve in my back and it makes my belly push forward, and I'm always a hernia risk. Even when I was thin, I was never thin, but even when I was light, I was a hernia risk. And I'm amazed. I just found out when they did my x-rays on my knees and my hip and stuff that the medical mesh is metal. I had no idea. For some reason, I thought medical mesh would have been like some kind of cotton webbing that your tissue would absorb and build itself right into the natural tissue wall. That's what I thought. That made sense to me. They never told me it was like titanium. Even regular Tylenol. Cat say no more medical. Good for you having a colostomy reversed. That would have given me hope, I think. I think about that now because my mom had to have a colostomy when she died. She died in the recovery room. Her heart gave out because she had a massive bowel. Her bowel ruptured like 36 hours before they got her to the hospital, and she died of peritonitis. Her heart gave out. It wasn't, but they had done a colostomy, and I know my mom, that would have just driven her absolutely to the brink to have a colostomy. It would have destroyed her emotionally, I think. That's just, my mom was one of those uber private people, very feminine and very, very clean. And the thought of a bag on the side of her body, I knew would have drove her nuts. I knew that even as a kid. Hey, Teresa. I'm noticing a difference by removing processed food and sugar to my diet. Well, yeah, I'm guilty. I use sugar, but I use organic sugar. And I'm finding more and more that I can't eat fast food. I can't eat. I can, but it has consequences. You know what I mean? Hang on. I got to do this because my head's starting to thump. Just a little too hard. And something just cracked in my neck. I wonder if that's going to give me relief or not. Like first it was McDonald's. I was really, really sick off McDonald's. And then the last 2 times I had shawarma, I got sick. Really sick. Like almost crap the bed sick. Sorry for the visualization there. And the last time, and then we'd have a sub. I could have a sub, but or it's a specific order of the sub, right? It's just cold cuts and meats, white cheese, red onions, lettuce, tomato, mayo, and garlic aioli. And I can eat that. But the last time I had one, it went right through me. It's like, man, every time I eat something fast more than once a month, it goes right through me. So, no, it's like, it's turning into lab-grown meat. Yeah, it's right? I know not everyone can have it, but once done, but they did tell me at least 6 months they could reverse it, 7 months, and here I am. Oh, I'm so glad for you, Gail. That's got to be feeling more humanized, eh? Had to cancel and reschedule my appointment today. It's now next week. How come, sweetheart? But yeah, fast food is not it used to be fast food, but now they put so much crap in it and they go, oh, it's not, there's no, we haven't used any antibiotics or steroids. What about lab grown meat? What I watched a video, if I can find it again, I will. There where a woman was interviewing a lab who was growing chickens in these tanks. It wasn't chickens, it was just the meat. And he said, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And I'm going, okay, buy meat with skin. And if you have to buy meat, make sure it has skin and bones. And that reminds me, I have to get a hold of Steffi. We called us the bag ladies. Good sense of humor. Ow, that hurt. My mom, God rest her soul, was allergic to almost everything. When she needed antibiotics, they had to put her in the hospital to get them through an IV. I'm lucky and I'm not allergic to anything. There's some antibiotics there was an antibiotic that they would give me when I got bronchitis, when I was a smoker and I'd get bronchitis. And I forget what the hell it was called. It was kind of like a penicillin, but it turned my bowels to battery acid. It was horrible. It was horrible. Erythromycin is what it was called. And it turned my bowels to battery acid. And they said it's the only thing that works on bronchitis. The last time I had bronchitis, they put me on prednisone, a dilating puffer, and then a puffer to hold to keep your dilated lungs open or whatever. And it's an antibiotic, but it's a mycin, not erythromycin. But anyway, no, and it's not chicken, right? Like, you don't know, you're getting the stem cell stuff from, right? But let's not go there. The only thing I'm allergic to is the sticky tape on the patches for smoking. Those make me itch like a dog with fleas. I wish we could go back to the 80s. No, God, why? AIDS. God. I remember when I had my breast reduction surgery, it was in 1980. When was the year that Mount St. Helens blew, guys? What year was that? Because that's the year I had my breast reduction surgery. Well, better food, better music, better TV shows, but well, yes, it was. Yes, it was. There was a lot of genetically modified stuff in vegetables back then. That started back in the 70s, guys, where they had a science say, well, if it looks like food and it tastes like food, then it's food, right? And it doesn't make you sick, right? Zithromycin, the worst, tastes like pennies in your mouth. Ugh. But no, it wasn't that one. It was amoxicillin. I got it wrong. It was amoxicillin. Prednisone, amoxicillin, and 2 puffers. That was the last time I had bronchitis. So, thank God I haven't had it since. Just had, the flu. Arby's roast beef comes in a tanker liquid. In a what? What's a tanker liquid? I've never eaten Arby's. I've never eaten Arby's. There was just always something that made me go, right? Mount St. Helens, right. So that's when, hey, freaky geek. That's when I had my breast reduction surgery. And I remember the doctor coming to me the next day after the surgery, the next morning, and saying, don't be alarmed if you see a bag of blood on your intravenous pole. And I went, why? And he said, you've lost a lot of blood. He said it was a 5.5 hour surgery. He said, you lost a lot of blood. It's not as simple as they make it nowadays. They literally fillet the breast open like that, remove the nipple and set it aside while they trim away at the pattern, put it back together and sew the nipple on. It was a really extremely painful surgery, especially with young breast tissue, right? So anyway, he said, don't be alarmed if you see a bag of blood. And he said, because you lost a lot of blood. And I said, you're not going to give it to me? And he said, we're going to see how you do. Thank God I never got the transfusion. Because, that's when AIDS was, they didn't know where AIDS was coming from. And it was all going through blood and stuff. It's a liquid and comes in a tanker. Ooh. Take care, Susie Q. I'm going to get off here too. I was like 80s. I was like 2 years old in 1980. It was such a better time for me. Well, see, for me, it was the late 60s, early 70s. When my mom was alive and you never got a sunburn. You could stay outside in the sun all day and just get brown, and you didn't know tinned food wasn't good for you. Yeah, we all want to go back, but you can't go home again. But what you can do is you can work every day to make your life a little bit better than it was yesterday, bearing in mind the things that gave you joy when you were young, right? I love you guys. Now with all them chemtrail planes constantly making the sky cloudy, well, what are we going to do? Right? At least we know. At least they're not pulling the wool over our eyes, right? So I feel that. I needed to hear it. Feel what, honey? Okay. Whatever. Sorry. I'm fogging out. I'm fogging out. I got to go and throw some stuff in a frying pan. I love you guys. Take care. God bless. And thanks for keeping me company. I just wanted to let you know I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. But if I'm working on cast iron, I'll call you. Okay? Take care. God bless. I love you. And remember, just because I can't see you, it doesn't mean my heart doesn't see you. Okay? So I can love you. It's as easy as that. Take care. God bless.